Chris here with Guns and Bourbon. We're joined today by a special guest. My brother's in town, and he brought us the Traveler whiskey, collaboration between Chris Stapleton and Buffalo Trace Distilling. So we're going to do a fresh crack and try it out, and then we're going to compare it to Buffalo Trace. This one's about $40. Buffalo Trace, depending where you're at, it's anywhere from high 20s to high 30s. So thought it might be a good one to try out since this one's a blend and that one also.
This was a nice little birthday present I've gotten him, just a little bit late. Admittedly, not a big whiskey drinker here. I'm someone who will just drink the cheap stuff, but you know, I figured he deserves a little better than that.
Nice pop.
So it's worth a shot. Now, if you ask my brother here, he'll tell you that I'm responsible for him getting into bourbon and a little whiskey by extension. So I've developed a bit of a habit in him.
Yes, he gave me Pappyland. That's in the book, I believe, right?
Yep.
Like, who's the author?
Wright Thompson.
Yes. And started reading that and then started drinking bourbon. So, cheers.
So I would compare it to, so again, admittedly not a big whiskey drinker, not a whole lot of hard alcohol. A whiskey that I have had in the past that I haven't hated was Tin Cup. Haven't had that in a while. This isn't terrible. I mean, yeah. And I'm not saying that in a bad way.
It's not going to blow your socks off with complexity.
It's probably, would you say it's one that it's not probably so cheap that you just toss it in and mix it with anything, but it's probably maybe a nicer mixing whiskey.
Yeah, smooth, but kind of falls off quickly.
Yeah, they're
sweet.
It's got an aftertaste. I wouldn't say it's a terrible aftertaste, but it'll linger there.
Mm-hmm. Let's try it against some Buffalo Trace.
Again, this is my first time having either one of these, so I'm interested to see what we're gonna do here.
I think you've had Buffalo Trace before.
Not that I can remember.
Our Uncle Brad used to enjoy it, so there's a good chance you had it at your camper someplace. And these are both fresh cracks, so
probably something I had and don't remember.
Also, don't feel you have to finish that all. I kind of got a little heavy-handed with that one.
I would say that's got the big gulp.
Cheers again.
Cheers. To my undeveloped palate, I would say the Buffalo Trace is a bit heavier.
It's definitely darker.
You almost, I don't know if chewy is the right term for it, but it feels like it has a bit more body.
Yeah, sort of stays in the mouth longer.
Yeah, I would say in terms of aftertaste, in terms of what lingers there, the Buffalo Trace is probably more pleasant.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad with the Traveler, but it's probably more pleasant with the Buffalo Trace.
Mm-hmm. I would say if you're looking at the Traveler, it's a fine whiskey. I wouldn't probably pay more than MSRP of the $40, and even then with Buffalo Trace, if you can find it, I would go with that over it. I mean,
as a novice, I would tend to agree with you. I would think the Buffalo Trace is probably, if you're going to compare the two to one another, that one was probably the easier drink.
Yeah. But I know a lot of you out there have a hard time finding just Buffalo Trace. So if you kind of want close to the same profile and you can find this and you want to spend a little bit more, it's not bad. It is, I believe, they call it a Tennessee whiskey, or just. So I don't believe it's actually a bourbon brand. They may just be calling it Tennessee whiskey because of his song. Or yeah, I'm not seeing Tennessee whiskey or bourbon. So outside just whiskey. So
Yeah, I would say out of the two, I would probably prefer Buffalo Trace. Again, going in clean palate, not a whole lot of experience drinking whiskey or bourbon. I would say I would side with the Buffalo Trace.
yeah, so for this one, I'd say you're paying more for the marketing and the Chris Stapleton name on it.
Yeah, and if you just want something to drink,
Yep.
basically.
So, yep, I'd say try it if you're. It's not bad. It's just I wouldn't be paying secondary Buffalo Trace prices on it.
Give us your thoughts in the comments. I know, as with anything, whatever type of whiskey or whatever you drink, it could have a family connection. We talked about the book Pappyland, or you might have a special family connection with something like Buffalo Trace, where you'll never quite find something that compares to something that you drank with your dad or whatever. But some people are just starting out on this journey in terms of bourbon and whiskey and everything. So you got to try it all.
Yep, and these are both fresh cracks. It might open up a little bit, so we may revisit it. Who knows? Maybe we'll blind it and it'll win. So, thank you for watching. Hope you come back. Hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good one.